I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We do these things every other week, 2 times, so we can get the East Coast and West Coast and everybody in between online. They last 20 minutes or under. They're kind of quick hitting. So if you enjoyed this, please let other people know that these things are pretty quick. Today we've got Tim Young, who's out of Denver, Colorado. He's going to be talking about things you can do with white oak. And like I mentioned in the presentation earlier today, the webinar earlier today, Tim Young is our National Salesman of the Year from 2020. Did a fantastic job for us last year. With that, I will, before I go, if you want to ask questions, just move your mouse around and there's a little button that'll pop up at the bottom. That'll be like question and answer or chat. Just list your questions there. I'm kind of got to go offline and disappear while Tim's doing his presentation, and then we'll come back and ask Tim the questions that pop up online. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Tim. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Robert. Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Young. I'm the Regional Account Manager for Basic Coatings. I cover Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. Thanks for joining us. We're going to talk today a little bit about our raw sealer, as well as some different options for white oak, as well as some other species as well as using raw on other species. So we'll just dive into it and we'll go from there. So what is raw? Raw sealer is an innovative wood floor sealer. It's designed predominantly for white oak, but it does have other uses. The goal for raw is to give the contractor an option for creating a floor that looks like a stylish, dry, untreated, natural white oak floor. In other words, if the homeowner says, I want the floor to look like sanded white oak, that's what we're aiming for. The other thing you can do is you can give you a very white, dense looking floor with a 2-coat application, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. One of the advantages of the product, it is pre-catalyzed. It's a 1-component product. All you have to do is shake it up really good, and it's ready to go. You don't have to add a catalyst or a hardener. It also has a built-in indicator hue, and what that means is that when you're pulling the finish down, it has like a pink cast to it. So it makes it real easy for you, the contractor, to put the product down with a roller or an applicator or a pad. You can T-bar it, but we really prefer that you roll it. And then it is low VOC. It is a water-based sealer. So it's we're good to go in some of the more stringent air districts in the United States. Rob also has the ability to prevent tannin pull in white oak. As everybody knows, white oak does contain tannins, and waterborne finishes can cause those to be an issue in the floor. This does have tannin blocking capabilities. It can be, again, used on any species of wood. It is an excellent product to use on red oak or a Brazilian cherry or an American cherry, because we have the ability to kill some of the red or tone some of that red out of the wood. It's very fast drying. So I will caution, though, in the southeast, northeast, east coast, where there's a high humid conditions, that dry time is typically around 2 to 3 hours before you put your finish on top. Out here in the west, where we have more of an air-dried climate, that usually can get cut in half if you're above, say, 75, 80 degrees. So another huge benefit to this product, because it is a water base, is that we have the ability to add up to 12 ounces of water per gallon. What that'll do in some of the warmer, drier climates is help it to dry, flow, and level in some of those warmer days. So I'm going to show you guys a quick video on application, and then you guys can we'll go from there.
Raw Sealer is a pre-catalyzed, toned, water-based sealer designed to maintain the natural dry appearance of white oak and reduce tannin pull. Raw Sealer features a wet sealer indicator hue, which allows the installer to easily see where product has been applied to ensure proper application and coverage throughout installation. Raw Sealer was designed with white oak in mind and can be used for any residential or commercial wood flooring application seeking a natural or raw-looking white oak floor. Raw sealer top-coated with a basic coating's two-component finish is suitable for even the most high-trafficked and abused floors. Raw sealer contains white pigment and is therefore not recommended for use over stain or paint, as it will change the color. If using raw sealer is still desired, allow stain or paint to dry per manufacturer's directions or longer, depending on environmental conditions. As always, prior to beginning a project, apply in an inconspicuous area to test and become familiar with your complete application method to ensure satisfaction with the product. Since raw sealer contains a small amount of a white pigment, which over time can settle at the bottom of the container, it is important to rock the container several times to thoroughly mix and redisperse any settlement. Set it aside for approximately 10 to 15 minutes to allow any bubbles to break. During application, stir the product from time to time to prevent settling. Prepare the floor using NWFA sanding procedures. Raw sealer can be applied with a trim pad, paint pad, or T-bar, but applies best with a premium 3/8-inch microfiber roller out of a tray or bucket. To achieve a dry look on white oak, apply 1 coat of raw sealer, followed by 2 coats of any clear matte basic coatings water-based finish. If a whiter tone or additional tannin resistance is desired, add a 2nd coat of raw sealer, followed by 2 coats of any clear basic coatings water-based finish. 3/8-inch microfiber roller is the preferred applicator. A T-bar, roller, or paint pad can also be used. It is recommended to apply your first coat of finish within 24 hours after applying raw sealer, prior to buffing or abrading the floor. Finish with another coat of basic coatings water-based finish. Important tip: to ensure a well-finished project, do not apply raw sealer too thickly. Also, work to consistently even out the product on the floor. Any areas not spread out consistently may result in a whiter appearance. Raw sealer will yield a coverage rate of approximately 450 to 550 square feet per gallon. Wood species, sanding procedure, and number of coats will determine actual coverage rates. Remember, thinner coats are best, and don't apply too thickly. Be sure to cover proper maintenance of the wood floor with the customer. A surefire way to know that they are cleaning their floors properly is to provide a squeaky maintenance kit. Squeaky cleans hardwood floors without the residue left behind by other detergents. You can price the kit into your job or offer as an add-on. Here are some tips to make your raw sealer application go smoothly and result in a professionally finished wood floor. Shake raw sealer very thoroughly to mix any settlement and allow it to sit for at least 15 minutes. This allows any foam or bubbles to dissipate. Applying with a roller out of a tray or bucket is preferred. This offers the applicator greater control over how much product is being applied to the floor. Apply raw sealer to a coverage rate of 450 to 550 square feet per gallon. Avoid applying thick coats. Work raw sealer to a uniform appearance. Don't be afraid to back roll and spread smoothly and evenly. Failure to do so may result in areas with a whiter appearance. Stir raw sealer from time to time when applying. Thank you for your interest in raw sealer, the best solution to achieve and protect the look of a raw-looking white oak wood floor. Please go to basiccoatings.com or call us at 1-800-441-1934 for more information or to speak with a Basic Coatings representative.
Live TV, folks. All right, so we did have a bunch of questions coming through. Some of these I know if people are seeing it for the first time, they get a little bit confused. But one was a 2-part question, which is, does it cause much grain raise? And if so, when do I abrade?
Okay, so it does not cause any more or any less than most water-based finishes in that 275 grams per liter area. And if you do need to abrade, we ask that you put a coat of finish on top of this particular product, or a sealer that's designed to be sanded like our commercial catalyzed. But if you're going to put a coat of finish down, you can definitely screen that or sand that to get any grain raise that you see or feel. So
yeah,
we don't want you sanding or screening the raw sealer.
Yeah, you might as well get into that, because I'll do a follow up on it. So he didn't mention that we don't want you to braid the coat of raw sealer, because what you're doing, you have a protective layer there that prevents tannin pull. That's number one. So if you abrade it, you're going to remove that raw sealer and you can potentially have tannin pull. That's number one. And then the other thing is too, is if it's kind of tough to see maybe visually in your eyes when you're looking at it, but if you abrade that floor and you remove that raw sealer, now when you put finish down, it could almost be spotty, if that makes any sense. So next question is kind of an interesting one. How many coats of this can I do in a day? Let's see if they can trip you up on that question.
Wow, that's a good one. So, I mean, you're probably going to get the desired look that you want with 2 coats. And, let's say it's 50 degrees, 60, 65 degrees, cooler day. You're still going to want to give it a couple hours between coats. If you're in an arid climate, if you're in the, southeast, you're going to want to give it the full 3 hours probably. So yeah, you could put 2 coats on easily in one day. If you needed to put a third on, you could possibly do it. But you want to give it plenty of dry time between coats.
Yeah, so I think you're answering that more like beyond just the coat of the sealer. So it's
Okay.
really an interesting question, because I don't know whether they're asking how many coats of raw sealer can you put down versus finish. So what I would say is if you put down 2 coats of raw sealer in a day, the thing that I was thinking of, Tim, was you're changing the color. So raw sealer will put down a nice light layer of white, because it's really lock and seal, which is another question here. It's really kind of like lock and seal with a little white pigment to it. So if you put 2 coats down, it's almost like putting Nordic seal down. If anybody's familiar with Nordic seal, it's going to be a whiter look. So I would say you don't, depend. When somebody says how many coats can you put down, it's the same amount of speed as any other water-based sealer and water-based finish, but you wouldn't necessarily want to put 2 coats of raw sealer down in a day unless you're trying to change the color of the floor.
Right.
And then theoretically speaking, people could put 3 coats of water-based finish down in a day, but that's really not recommended by anybody. So another question is, what's the difference between lock and seal and raw sealer?
Well, I mean, basically they're based off the same platform, because the lock and seal is designed to do one thing, and that is to stop tannin pull on white oak. Raw has similar characteristics that the lock and seal does. Just like Robert said, though, it has white in it. It has a white pigment in it that gives that natural appearance on a white oak floor to achieve, a raw look. So that's basically the biggest thing between them. If there's one thing I will say that the 2 have in common, is neither one of them abrade or screen. And that's why we don't recommend it. They don't do it very well at all. So yeah,
it really doesn't work as part of the system.
Correct.
So to speak. So I generally think about that as, what is the contractor trying to do? So if they're trying to change the color of the floor, generally lock and seal is the thing that you would go. And if you're trying to keep it the same, right, raw white oak look, you go with raw seal. That's how I think about it. I do have a contractor in Ohio that uses 2 coats of raw sealer on red oak, because he's got an area where there's people that homeowners have a lot of red oak, and they're trying to get that design look of a white oak. My guess is just about anybody that's on this webinar would walk into a house and probably be able to tell that it's red oak being hidden, but it's not bleached or anything like that. But it does for the average homeowner that doesn't know much about wood flooring, that are looking for design styles or whatever. 2 coats of raw sealer on red oak is certainly an option.
And white has become extremely popular, especially out here in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the homes out here have got 2 1/4 inch red oak in the homes. Even homes that are built in the last 10 years have got 2 1/4 inch red oak in them, whether it's a hallway or a kitchen. So there's a lot of it. So yeah, white is very popular now, as well as the sanded white oak look, raw look. So it's very popular right now.
Right. So I do have a follow-up question on the abrading, where they're asking, what, even not with a maroon pad, and the answer to that's no. So even if you have excessive grain raise, you got something that's going on where there's excessive grain raise, I would tell anybody when they're using a sealer, don't waste your time abrading the sealer. Put your first coat of fish down, and that is with everything that we do. I don't really see the advantage of taking the time to abrade a sealer, even if you've got it's a rough surface. Put your first coat of finish down, then abrade, I would say. So with that, we kind of went through. We went over because all the technical difficulties, which is fine. So I want to do a cheap pitch on our behalf. So last year we did a Floor of the Year contest. We're doing it again this year. It's really two contests that are going at the same time. One is for commercial residential projects, and the other one is for sport business. We pick a winner in each category each month, and if you win, you get $250 worth of free basic coatings materials, and you are automatically entered into the Floor of the Year contest. The way to enter is pretty simple. All you got to do is take some job site pictures, say the products that you used, post it on Instagram, and do hashtag WoodFloorProud. If you're not an Instagram person, just reach out to your local basic coatings rep, because they've posted projects on people's behalf that have won. And you are entered if you win, you're automatically entered in the Floor of the Year contest. The Floor of the Year contest winners this year for residential, they get this Primatech nailer that goes all the way up to the wall. It's like a $900 tool. And for the sport floor person, they get this custom painted basic coatings, a tape machine, as well as the telegraphing arm that gives you where you can do the game lines and three-pointers and all that good stuff. So with that, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I will send an email to everybody that attended to get you the raw sealer video so you can watch it without all our technical difficulties. And Tim Young, even though we had technical difficulties, you were fantastic as always.
Thanks, Robert, for your help.
Appreciate everybody for joining us today, and stay safe out there, guys. Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.